Annyeong Chingwade. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh, and I am here to do a reaction to Sohyang. She is one of my favorites of all of the artists that I've reacted to on my channel. I love her voice. I love what she stands for, the person that she is, the reason that she performs. It's all about lifting the hearts of those who are in need and sharing this message of God and hope and all these things, which is right in line with my own personal beliefs and feelings. So I love her as an artist. Many of you have recommended that I do a reaction to her Misty performance. So I have found the Begin Again version out on Vimeo. So I'm going to react to that today. But before I get into that, one of the things that I'm trying to do to improve my reactions after kind of looking at what I've done in the past is, and I did it with this one, I listened to Ella Fitzgerald's version of this again, her Misty, and it was beautiful. She has such a silky, controlled voice, just a beautiful tone, and really puts a lot of personality into her performance. And so I want to come in with that fresh in my mind so that I can compare Sohyang's performance to what Ella did with the song. So with that, the song is Misty. As I mentioned, sung by Ella Fitzgerald, songwriters Garner Errol and Burke Johnny. And the lyrics are, "Look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree, and I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand, I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello. That music I hear, I get misty whenever you're near. Can't you see that you're leading me on? And it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. On my own, when I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove, I'm too misty and too much in love. I'm just too misty and too much in love." So it's really just a love song that talks about this deep kind of love that is the type that where you feel enriched by this person. It talks about how 1,000 violins begin to play, right? So I get misty just holding your hand. This is the type of love that we all really seek for, or should be seeking for in our lives. And the type of true love that really has a lot of meaning. I've talked to my boys. I've mentioned my boys before in other reactions. I have 3 boys. 2 are in college, and my youngest is a sophomore in high school. And the older boys, I've kind of talked with him about the aspects of true love and what their mom and I have. And it all started off, in our case, and I believe in the case where you have true love, with a very strong friendship and a connection, not just a physical attraction or any of that, but an actual depth of friendship and a profound connection with each other. And that requires really opening yourself up, listening and letting that person in and really committing to sharing your lives together. And that doesn't mean that everything is always glorious and wonderful and nothing bad ever happens, right? There are always going to be challenges. And in my 26 years of marriage to my wife, we've had our share of challenges and tough times, but we've come through and we're closer because of it. And so we're working toward this type of love that it talks about in this song. So with that, I will go ahead and get this started here. Before I do that, if you're new to my channel or you haven't already, if you could please click on the subscribe and the little notifications bell there, so that you get notified of any of my new reactions that I post. I do apologize that it's been a while for me since I posted my last reaction. I'm going to try to do better. I've been very busy with my job, my new job that I started back toward the beginning of the year. There's been a lot of new things I'm learning with this new job that have kept me really busy. And we have some other things going on in our lives. And I'll probably talk about those later at some point, but it's been very busy. So thank you for your patience, and I hope you enjoy this reaction.
Look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree, and I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand, I get misty just holding your
Wow. She has one of the best tones to her voice. I've talked about it before, but it's just so resonant and pure and pleasant to the ear. Every note, and I talked about that on my first reaction, I think, when I listened to Arirang alone, every note is placed where it needs to be placed. It's placed forward. It's placed with air behind it. That doesn't mean that she's singing loud all the time. It just means that she's supporting it and she's giving it the breath that she needs to have the tone come through in a resonant and on-pitch way. And when she makes jumps from, different parts of her range from one note to another, they're always dead on. They're always right on. An example is the one that she just did there. I'll rewind it here just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. But she always is right on with the pitch. And sometimes stylistically she'll come in and she'll do a little slide here or there or something like that. But it's all about the style. But as far as just the skill and the purity of her tone, it's amazing. I love it. Let me go back just a little bit here.
I get misty just holding your
That's the one I was talking about right there.
Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play, or it might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. Can't you see that you're leading me on? And it's just what I want you to do.
She's one of those voices. You hear this from other people, right? But it's like, I could listen to her singing the phone book, right? I mean, they don't really make phone books anymore. I'm dating myself, I guess. I could listen to her singing like a math book or something, right? Just like a textbook. She just has that kind of rich quality to her voice that is just very powerful and pleasing to the ear, right? She's one of the most gifted vocalists out there. And I said that in my first reaction, and I continue to say it. And I want to point out, too, that she's sitting down here. A lot of her performances, she's standing up, but she's sitting down. And if you've ever tried to sing sitting down versus standing up, you know what I'm talking about. It's harder to get the support that you need into your diaphragm and to have as good a performance when you're sitting down. Another one, obviously, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking of is Morissette, that does a lot of her performances sitting down, and it's very impressive to see a singer do it and do it well. So let me just go back just a little bit. This is also neat to kind of see her singing, and it's more of a current venue, right? You see them social distanced from each other, wearing the masks. So it's neat that she's able to do a live performance to a crowd here, during this pandemic. It's got to be hard for performance. I know it's been hard for me and for my quartet, and it's been hard for my wife as well, because normally this time of year she's the musical director for the high school musicals here locally. They weren't able to do a musical this year because they're not able to gather in these larger groups and stuff because of the restrictions due to COVID. So we were just talking about it. This is around the time that she would normally be opening the spring musical at the high school with all of her kids and stuff. So it's hard, but so it's good to see that she has the opportunity to perform for a live audience here.
And it's just what I want you to do. Don't you know this? How hopelessly I'm lost. That's why I'm following you.
Wow.
On my own.
Wow.
When I
See
wander
that?
through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. Too misty and too much in
love. You see this girl here? She's doing like the goosebumps. I have the goosebumps too. I don't point that out very often. I should, because I do get them occasionally. But if you're a singer and you see someone just sit and do this, and you could see the reaction of the person sitting next to her, and I apologize, I don't know who that is. It's probably a well-known singer that's performing as well as part of this. So if you want to put that down in the comments, that would be great. But you saw their reaction when she did one of those runs or whatever, where they were just like shaking their head or putting their hand over their mouth. It's because if you're a singer and you're listening to her do this and watching what she's doing, and you're hearing the clarity of the tone and the exactness of the runs and the timbre of her pitch and everything, it's uncanny. And she makes it look so effortless. If you've tried to do what she's doing right now, you know that it's very difficult. What she just pulled off with this song is very difficult. And I want to go back a little bit. I didn't really pause during that last little part, but I want to point out something real quick. But the runs that she does and the range that she covers in this song is, I think that note, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the low note she hits there during that last little run there, I think that might be the lowest note I've heard her sing in any of her songs. So she covers some ground on this one. Let me go back a little bit here. Yeah, see, she's getting emotional, and that's part of what So-hyung really does for people. I've heard from a lot of people that have gone to live performances that it's very powerful to be there and to feel the power behind her voice and the feeling that she brings to the songs. You get that watching it on a video, but it sounds like it's even more so live. There's a part right here, I think. Yeah, this is where... See right there?
When I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love.
You hear that? Right there, that's pretty low.
And too much in love.
You hear how she started off and she's just putting a little bit of air behind it, so it's kind of soft and airy, and then she kind of brings the sound and the placement forward a little bit to give it a little bit more of that edge as she kind of holds it out. I mean, these are the types of things when you hear a vocalist and do this, you know they've got really good control over their voice and shaping the sound. You know, Dimash, similar type thing, right? He really has a lot of control and understanding, and you hear it with So-hyung and all of her songs, really, but in this one, you can hear it. She's shaping the sound, and she's adding texture to the story that she's telling, to the message that she's singing that are part of the lyrics and the overall. And that's why you see this girl here getting the goosebumps and having it really hit her, right? Because she's bringing so much depth and feeling to the performance. So one of the things that I'm going to do now, I assume that it's over and they're going to talk possibly in Korean and there are going to be English subtitles. I'm going to read the English subtitles and I'm going to explain real quick why. This is part of what I do on my channel, and it has to do with the fact that I create translations of 15 other languages other than English for those who are watching in other countries that need the translation. So the reason I read it in English is so that YouTube will pick it up. It will be added in to my subtitle file. And then when I translate my English subtitle file, it will be translated into everyone else's language. So that way everyone will know in their own language what's being said here by So-hyung. So that's the reason I'm doing it, just so you know before I go ahead and do it here.
진짜 나 여기서 이
진심
노래를
노래 안 끝났으면
I really wish the song didn't end.
과장 1도 없고
Without exaggerating even 1%.
와 정말
It's just
진짜 경이로웠어요.
was phenomenal.
엄청난 디테일들이 막
A tremendous amount of detail.
진짜 저는 지금도
Because of it still not forgotten.
감동적이기도
It's so
했고,
touching and it also makes me reflect on
반성하게
myself.
되기도 하고, 진짜
It
열심히
made me
하겠다
think that I should make an effort more.
와 진짜 보컬리스트.
I realized this is the vocalist.
아니 그 제일
How do you make it? That very soft sounds at very high notes.
고운
Like thin and soft, like ultrasonic waves.
천사의 목소리.
Probably the voice of an angel.
되게 우리
돌고래나 박쥐 같은
Like a dolphin or a bat.
박쥐.
초음파를 내는 그런
박쥐.
나방도 있고.
And moth.
사람은 들을 수 없는 어떤 음역의
아버지가.
벌레.
It's a bug.
그
Nice. Yeah. That was amazing. Another incredible performance. It was humorous to me to listen to their commentary, right? And you guys can kind of include in your comments who these people were that were making the comments. The one gentleman there at the very beginning afterward that was talking. Let me know a little bit more about that. And I understand a little bit about this Begin Again, and that they did this, and I believe it was for like charity or something like that they were doing these performances. So I know a little bit about it, but if you can kind of speak to that and give a little more detail, that'd be great. But as they mentioned, I mean, and I've said these things before, I've compared her, like she has the voice of an angel and she can sing the high stuff really soft. And in fact, I mentioned that when I was kind of giving my analysis during the performance. And again, it comes back to her ability to have just complete control of her instrument, and which allows her to really do whatever she wants in telling the story of the song. And an analogy that I would use would be like a master storyteller who's reading a book. If you guys have listened to Audible or audiobooks, right? If you've listened to the Harry Potter series, the gentleman that does the voices for that, I can't remember his name, and I apologize for that, but he does all the voices and like adds the personalities to all the different characters. He's a master storyteller. If you compare that person to someone who's just kind of monotone, who just kind of, reads it and kind of with not much feeling and just kind of reads the words, that's the contrast that you may see with different performances or artists. When you have someone like Sohyung that is at that level in singing the song or performing of a master storyteller, a master singer, master artist, they have the control in their instrument, they have the quality of sound, they have the knowledge of what the song means to them, and they've done their due diligence. They've prepared in every way possible to put on an incredible performance, and that's what you get. They make it look easy because they are such masters. And that's Sohyung. That describes her. So I loved it, and I'll definitely listen to it several more times. I always love it when I'm able to go back and watch performances by an artist multiple times after I do my first reaction, because I've been dying to hear like this performance, but I'm dedicated to making each of my reactions a first time reaction to that performance, so that it's genuine and authentic, and that's something that I pride myself on as far as my channel and the quality of what I do. So anyway, thank you again for your patience, and I'm going to try to get some more reactions out this week and get back on track here with posting more content. I hope that all of you are doing well. I know a lot of people in my area are getting the vaccine, so I'm hoping that where you're at in the world, that you are able to also get a hold of the vaccine, and so that you can protect yourself from the virus and get back to living somewhat normal lives, hopefully. I'm hoping that for all of us. And as I say at the end of all of my videos, you need to know that you are special, you can accomplish your dreams, and you are loved. And I hope, as I've said before, that you can get that from my channel, and that you you get some happiness and enjoyment and learn something, and that you feel that love through the community that we create here on the channel. And I'm going to get back to that and back to creating content and interacting out there with each of you on the comments. And I hope that you are happy and healthy. And thank you again for your support. And take care.